So the Boston Bruins have eliminated the Carolina Hurricanes in 5 games in their first round matchup. We'll be taking a look at that in this video. If you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. And let's take a look at this matchup between the Boston Bruins and the Carolina Hurricanes. All right, so a recap of the first round Eastern Conference matchup between the Carolina Hurricanes and the Boston Bruins. Going into this series, the Boston Bruins were not the favored team. They really struggled in their round-robin series where they played 3 games. They did not win any of those 3 games. They ended up 4th in the Eastern Conference in the reseeding after being first going into the playoff scenario. And the Carolina Hurricanes had just come off sweeping the New York Rangers in their qualification series, beating them in 3 games. This was a series for the Hurricanes that they had all the momentum going in, and unfortunately lost it as things went along. But the Boston Bruins, it was a bumpy road along the way, and we'll be taking a look at that in this video. So my predictions were completely wrong. I'll be completely honest. A lot of you Bruins fans out there were like, don't sleep on the Bruins here. The Bruins are a good hockey team. They had their number last year. They beat them in the Eastern Conference Finals in a sweep. So they ended up beating them not too far off from that in this year's playoffs here a year later. The Boston Bruins came in and got things going right away. They win Game 1 by a score of 4-3. It was a close game throughout the entire way through. Both teams looked very solid. It didn't really seem like there was too much of a difference there early on in the series. And then we go to Game 2. Carolina Hurricanes get their 1 victory, tying up the series at 1 apiece and starting to swing the momentum back in their favor. And then Game 3 comes, and the Boston Bruins re-establish their dominance in the series. Tuukka Rask leaves the team. We have now found out some personal reasons with his family at home. He had to leave the bubble, and Tuukka Rask was out, leaving Yaroslav Halak, the mid-30-year-old goaltender, as the starting goaltender for the Boston Bruins through the remainder of this series. So a lot of questions going on for the Boston Bruins. David Pastrnak was out for a little bit in this series as well. We'll see how things go with that. And they were able to fight through all that in Game 3. They pick up the victory, avoiding all the distractions, a 3-1 victory, reestablishing their momentum in the series. And then Game 4 happens, and the Carolina Hurricanes go up 2-0 in the third period. They had the routine set in place. Dump and chase, keep the Bruins logo in front of you through the whole third period, and the Bruins should be back in even once again with the Carolina Hurricanes. Unfortunately, the Boston Bruins went on. Jake DeBrusk leading the way with 2 goals in that third period, led by a couple of other goals, and the Boston Bruins would take a 4-2 lead. The Hurricanes would score 1 late to keep it close up until the end, but it was not enough, and that was really the momentum shifter in this series, kind of the nail in the coffin. The Hurricanes go up 2-0 in that game, and they find a way to close out that Game 4 or an even series. Instead, the Boston Bruins take back the momentum in that third period and establish their momentum, a 3-1 series lead. And unfortunately, in Game 5, the Boston Bruins play their game. They actually beat the Carolina Hurricanes at their game, and they find a way to beat the Carolina Hurricanes, a 2-1 victory. A great series overall. The Carolina Hurricanes defense looked very solid. I have tried to make this video so many times, so apologies for all the noise outside. It's been going on all morning. But the Boston Bruins have been a very solid team through this series. Despite Game 2, where they lost, they still played a very solid game. It was a close back-and-forth game. Throughout most of this series, it was a 1-goal differential throughout the entire series, besides Game 3, where it was a 3-1 win for the Bruins. So most of the way through, it's been a very tight series. The Carolina Hurricanes just didn't have enough. They lost a couple of defensemen in the series going into it. They lost Dougie Hamilton. Then they lose some other guys. As the series goes along, they just were not able to get past that. Yaroslav Halak looked great in between the pipes, especially down the stretch in this series for the Boston Bruins. And a couple of those top guys on the Bruins found a way to get it done. They find a way to move on. They will be heading to the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. And for the Carolina Hurricanes, they did not get their revenge on the Boston Bruins this season. So comment down below. What do you think of the Boston Bruins winning this series? I was a little bit shocked. The fact they beat them in 5 games. Thought the Hurricanes would put up a little bit more of a fight. Just were not able to get that done. And Carolina Hurricane fans, let me know in the comment section down below, what do you have to work on this offseason? I think the big thing for the Hurricanes is establishing a starting goaltender. They like the rotation of Mrazek and Reimer. They've done that last year. They had McElhinney and Mrazek. But it doesn't seem to work that well once you get into the playoffs. You need that number one starting goaltender. I think that's going to be huge for the Carolina Hurricanes this offseason, possibly bringing in, say, Jacob Markstrom or Braden Holtby, or one of those kind of goaltenders that can really be a starter there. Thomas Greiss up with the Islanders. So I think that's something that the Carolina Hurricanes will be exploring this offseason. But let me know in the comment section down below. What do you think of this series? And if you like what we're doing here at Goal Line Hockey, want to see the latest news around the NHL, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.